All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last one I'm going to do, the trifecta, before I get back to my research. Just taking a break here. Ran across this kid, a new one, Daniel Pronk. Interesting. Yes, I recognize the last name. Yep, it's predictable, folks. Seems to be a lot of fake investment and stock trading gurus with similar last names on YouTube. Here's another one living in his mom's house in his little bedroom with his little whiteboard. And he wants to give you the information that Ray Dalio's getting out of the S&P 500, which of course is not true. I don't need to watch the video to know it's not true. I can assure you it's not true. So before we listen to this video, let's go ahead and take a look at his channel. So 10 crashing stocks to buy now. Folks, anyone who's promoting this type of thing, 3 stocks to buy now, 3 stocks set to explode, right? They're con artists. And can you imagine they're doing it now with all this market turmoil going on? I'm telling you right now, these people are in danger, okay? And even myself, a top authority, investment authority, 3 decades experience, Wall Street, have my own firm. Even I wouldn't do this because it's irresponsible and it's dangerous. I can't overemphasize this. Anyone who pulls this tactic, it's clickbait. They don't care that they're going to tie you, they're going to pull you into these stocks and you're going to blow up. They just want the ad revenue. And they want you to think that he knows what's going on. Give me money. Give me Patreon. Click my link, bro. Buy my merch. These guys are parasites. So take a look at his videos here. Stock's crashing. So he's going through and talking about Warren Buffett, and you see he's got pictures of Warren Buffett, and he's got the clickbait little the expression that like 12-year-olds. What's that expression? What's going on? That they click, right? So do not buy these stocks. He's giving investment advice. See this clickbait garbage. So he likes to profile some of these guys like Ray Dalio and Warren Buffett. Folks, let me just tell you, anybody who promotes these people, why do you need them to listen to them? If you think that Ray Dalio is some investment legend, which he's really not, or Warren Buffett, who's very, very overrated, the most overrated investor in history, as far as I'm concerned, then why not just follow those guys? It's very easy to do. You understand that? If you want to follow their picks, and I can assure you, you're not going to do too well if you invest in what these guys invest in. Okay? And I could explain why. If you don't, at some point, you need to look into my credibility, who I am, my track record, okay? And you need to accept what I'm saying, or else you need to spend a lot of time looking into what I'm saying. I'm telling you facts, okay? If you think it's that easy to follow what these guys do and do well, Warren Buffett made all his money decades ago. That's when all his performance was very good. When there was not much competition, there weren't many private funds, and he made most of that money in the private markets. That's why Warren Buffett, number one, hasn't outperformed the S&P over the past 15 or 16 years on average, despite the fact that he takes on more risk. He takes on more risk, and once you adjust the S&P for dividends reinvested, he doesn't do too well at all. Okay? And finally, Warren Buffett has desperately loaded up on tech stocks. 40% of his portfolio is Apple. That's very dangerous. That's not what you expect for a seasoned, experienced, professional investor to do. He's that desperate, even though he's claimed for years he doesn't understand technology. Why is he doing all this? Because he's desperate. He's out of the game. Warren Buffett should have retired 20, 30 years ago. He's way past his prime. Of course, you're not going to hear anyone else say this because everyone's a follower and they think Warren's a great investor because the media says so. Well, I've got the facts. Okay? You want to listen to the media? You're going down the gutter. Listen to facts. Okay? Warren Buffett knows he hasn't done well for the past 20 years. He doesn't want to talk about it. And most of you kids are too young to even have any perspective. You don't even know what I'm talking about. But anyway, Ray Dalio, apparently this guy idolizes Ray Dalio, right? 6-7 years ago, virtually nobody in the retail world knew Ray Dalio, didn't know his name. I advised hedge funds, and I didn't know the guy's name until he partnered up with the biggest con artist in the world, Tony Robbins. And that's a whole nother topic of discussion I'm not going to get into. But Ray Dalio has been promoted by the media since that time. Number one, Ray Dalio doesn't even run a legitimate hedge fund. Now, have you ever heard anyone say that? Okay, you don't think that's true? I tell you what, if you don't think it's true, bring me somebody on my level, and I say on my level, someone very experienced from the professional investment world who's got a lot of credentials. Bring me someone like that who doesn't agree with me, and we'll debate. Because I can assure you, I will prove to you, Dalio doesn't even run a hedge fund. But you see, he wants to call it a hedge fund, even though you can call anything a hedge fund. It's a legal structure. So he wants to tell you it's a hedge fund, although it doesn't really operate like a hedge fund. Okay? But he wants to say that, I've got the largest hedge fund. Oh, wow, so hedge funds are great and can do really well. You got the largest one. You must be really good. In fact, Ray Dalio's hedge fund is basically a mutual fund. Okay? It's basically a mutual fund. It's run like a mutual fund for the most part. Okay? That's what you're not hearing. And once you understand, the media, folks, you listen to people in the media and what they say, you're going nowhere. Mike O'Berry warns the stock market. I mean, this guy, hasn't he been talking about a collapse now every year for the past 6 years, 7 years, right? Okay. And of course, people think that he's some investment genius because he was modeled in a movie from Michael Lewis. Yeah. Well, folks, what do you think is better? What's calling something better? Somebody who makes a trade, a speculative trade, which he can hedge that trade, he can protect, he can defend against losses, he can get out of the trade, and he can even lose the trade, and no one finds out. Or somebody who uncovers the research, publishes the research, the detailed research, which goes over everything, like a PhD thesis, and even puts in print, tells people to short, not just the subprimes. Subprime's easy call. Tells them to even short Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which these guys didn't touch, and General Electric and General Motors, right? Which nobody else but me knew, apparently, that they were basically consumer finance institutions, banks. So I'm not going to go into that. I've talked about that many times in the past, and that explains why these guys are one-hit wonders. They're not really that credible, and you shouldn't listen to them. Another example is my former colleague I worked with in the Bear Stearns office, Kyle Bass, Heyman Capital, who also made a lot of money shorting the subprimes. He's hasn't done well at all since that time. Poor guy. Okay? So you can't just listen to the media. When you got these clowns like Mr. Howdy Doody here, pitching these guys, that tells you you're dealing with a clown, a sheep. Okay? So let's go ahead now and listen to what he has to say about Ray Dalio.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be taking a deep look into Ray Dalio's portfolio for 2022, as well as his most recent stock market moves. Now, Ray Dalio is one of my all-time favorite legendary investors because he is honestly one of the best macroeconomic investors in the entire world, at least in my own opinion. And
okay, so ask yourself the question, at least in his own opinion. So how is this guy qualified to give a legitimate opinion that's valuable, that's has merit? You understand? his own opinion. He's a kid. He's never worked in the financial industry. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And so his opinion basically is based upon what he's read. I can assure you. He doesn't have the skill set or the intellect. I'll say aptitude. I don't know about his intellect. He doesn't have the aptitude in the capital markets and the investment world to ascertain how good or not Ray Dalio is as a macro fund investor. Okay? You understand, folks. When someone's giving you their assessment of something, you need to always ask the question, how are you qualified to give this assessment? And what makes you qualified? Why should I listen to you? Why do you think that what you have to say is credible, is worth my time? And you see, folks, the problem today, and it's going to get worse and worse, and I've mentioned this for years now, is that we are inundated constantly with content everywhere. Everyone is wanting us to read their content, to watch their content, to listen to their content, because they want advertisement revenue. I have never been on the advertisement revenue model. I think if you are selling ad-based content, you're a scam artist and a loser. Okay? I don't deal with scam organizations. The media, which sells advertisements, is a scam organization. My point, though, is that everyone is wanting you to listen, read, watch their content. As a result, everyone out there as well thinks that they're an expert on everything. Have you noticed that? When I was a kid, if I talked about things I wasn't qualified to talk about, I was told by usually older people who knew more about those topics than me, I was told to keep my mouth shut. I didn't know what I was talking about. I was humiliated. And you know what? I shut up. And I started listening to people who knew more than me, and I started learning. You see, that's why I've learned a lot. I didn't think I was some expert when I was a kid like this guy. You see, I kept my head down. I was humble, and I learned, and I worked hard. But you see, the problem is that because everyone is pushing their content, people even think that they're learning things, but they're not. They're getting low-yield content. Folks, there's only 24 hours in a day. There's only 7 days in a week and 365 days in a year. And for many of us, hopefully, there's only, 70, 80, maybe 90 years in our lifetime. We have a finite lifetime, right? We're all busy. We have things to do. Be very critical. Scrutinize what and whom you're going to listen to, because you don't want to waste your time on low yield content. You're not going to get anywhere, especially in the investment world. These guys are all low yield garbage collectors on YouTube. I'm telling you right now. I just wanted to throw that out there because I see that. You all don't see it unless you're experienced, very experienced and knowledgeable in the investment world. I see it. YouTube, all these guys, it's a bunch of wasteful garbage. Most of it is actually destructive, and it's going to cause harm to your finances. Anyway.
He's kind of been preaching that inflation is going to be rather high for quite some time. Like before inflation was even a worry in the overall market, and before the average investor was talking about inflation.
Okay, so if he was preaching about high inflation for some time before inflation was a concern, if that's true, and I wouldn't believe anything this guy has to say due to probably poor judgment on his part, but if that's true, then that means Ray Dalio is not credible. It's not credible. Okay? This is absolutely not credible. It means he's fear-mongering. In fact, if you go and do a search on the confirmation bias machine Google for Ray Dalio, Ray Dalio predicts stock market crash. Ray Dalio says market's in a bubble. Ray Dalio, doom and gloom stuff. Ray Dalio's been coming out with shit every year, hasn't he? Yeah, he has. He's kind of like a Jeremy Grantham. See, these guys, they say, market's going to crash, market's in a bubble, yet they're in the market, right? You can't have it both ways. If you're telling everybody the market's going to crash, market's in a bubble, get the hell out of the market, right? You see, no one talks about this, do they? They're hypocrites and they're frauds. They're con artists, these guys are.
he was already hedging his portfolio.
Oh, he's in advance.
Inflation.
Folks, Ray Dalio is a clown. Okay, you can take that to the bank. You can take it to the bank. And so he's telling you Ray Dalio's selling the S&P. Okay, let's take a look at Ray Dalio's portfolio. Matter of fact, we'll go ahead and take a look here at what this guy shows you. Okay. And by the way, Ray Dalio always has large positions in the S&P 500. Okay. How's he a hedge fund? Right. And matter of fact, take a look at the stocks. His top holdings. Take a look. These are like Dow 30, right? A lot of them. These are like blue chips. How are you going to make a lot of money in a fund if you're holding, McDonald's and Procter and Gamble and that's stability. That's stable. You understand? Ray Dalio is not a hedge fund manager and he's not running a hedge fund. Okay. Number one. Number two is that these portfolios that they show, these are like on some of these sites, they don't show all of the positions and all of the holdings. This guy doesn't even know that. This kid does not know that. Okay? He doesn't have a clue what's going on. But anyway, folks, I'm just telling you, if you listen to the media, and this kid only knows about Ray Dalio, and he thinks Ray Dalio is this great investor because the media says so. And Ray Dalio has been spending a lot of money and a lot of time over the past several years pumping himself out there to Main Street. And you got to wonder why. Does he want to run for president? It's something strange going on. I can just tell you that guys that are doing well as hedge fund managers aren't out in the public eye. Okay, they're keeping their heads down and they're focused on their work. Okay, and Ray Dalio, the only thing that he's done that's been successful, as far as I'm concerned, or admirable, if you think this is an admirable feat, is he's been able to raise money and keep people, which I know how he's done that. Like most of these guys, they've got their buddy system going on. They get institutional money from pensions from their tribe. That's how the whole system works, which is why all these guys, just about every single one of these guys that runs money, hedge fund, they're in the same tribe because they have access to capital through pension plans. Most people don't even realize that these hedge funds, by the way, most of the money's from pension plans. Most of the money in many risky hedge funds are from pension plans. People don't even know that. Teachers, carpenters, janitors, right? Policemen, people with pension plans, postal service workers, people with pension plans, whether it's state or federal, even private pension plans, they're invested in some cases in very risky securities, very risky strategies. They don't even know it. Okay, that's a whole other topic of discussion for another time. Anyway, I just wanted to profile this clown. Want to add him to the list, and we'll check in with him sometime in the future.
terms of getting back as an investor, if it's coming down to here, almost irrespective of what's going on, I have to believe, if I have to make a call in advance, and of course I can change depending on what happens, but I have to believe this is where you want to start doing that 18, 17, around there. Their earnings report is a complete game changer, at least for quite a while. Bottom line, NVIDIA now is going to enter the realm of Tesla, Apple, and all these other big, I mean, listen, NVIDIA can come down to 150, come down to $100. If you don't think it's possible, then you don't understand how the market works. I mean, listen, NVIDIA can come down to 150, come down to $100. If you don't think it's possible, then you don't understand how the market works.